I was drawn to the security industry because I spent the early part of my career as a chartered accountant at PwC and then as a management accountant at PwC, as well as another consulting firm, where I was always on the outside looking into the client. And I always wanted to, once I reached a certain stage in that part of my career, I always wanted to get onto the other side of the fence. I wanted to be inside the business, making changes and driving and having an impact from within the business. So when an opportunity came up to join Chubb Security, I really saw that as a great, exciting thing because it was working in an industry that is tangible, where you could see the services every day, and it was something that just really appealed to me. Well, I can think of two. I'm not sure if they've actually I've tried to have them influence me. Yeah, well, my leadership style really was hopefully shaped by two people, particularly here at MSS Security. The first was Mike McKinnon. Mike was very much driven by values and integrity, and that appealed to me very much, just in my own style, but seeing Mike apply that in a corporate world was very important to me, and it really set the groundwork for me for the last 20 years. And Mike also had an approach which relied very heavily on the detail, focus on the detail, and it's very important to do that because if you don't know the detail, it's too easy to let for things to get by that you're not aware of, or it just goes unnoticed. And so it is really important. And I got that message from Mike in terms of his leadership style. But then when Jeff Alcock came along, Jeff has a much different leadership style, and I was able to really acknowledge some of the great styles that Jeff has. He's very much about sharing and communicating, and he's very much about involving other people that surround him in the discussion to help formulate the best decisions. And so Jeff's style is much different. I'm not saying it's better or worse, but if you take the approach that Mike took, which was all about the focus on the detail and make sure you got that right, for me that was really important because it means decisions are being made on fact. And then Jeff came along, and he's very much driven by the same corporate values that Mike put in place. So that just kept the continuity of our business consistent in terms of culture. But the style that I picked up from Jeff was really about being more inclusive in some of the decision making. And Jeff is very much never looking to blame when something goes wrong. It's more about focusing on how do we make this right and how do we move forward. Look, I think my past roles have played a very important role in terms of getting me to where I am now. Starting out as a chartered accountant, it was all about looking at every aspect of a business, and so I was very fortunate. I was able to learn. I got exposure to so many different businesses in so many different industries, and you have to really understand what's going on in the business when you're on the auditing side of things. And then when I moved into the management consulting side, it was very much getting into the business and looking at how the business operates. Can it operate more efficiently? Is it meeting its objectives? And is the structure overall correct? So I think from those points of view, those gave me some really good background in terms of coming in, I guess, with a lot of knowledge about how businesses operate and the roles that different people make, and the importance of getting your processes right. So I've been fortunate in that sense. And then later in my career, before I joined MSS Security, I was in charge of international business development, so I was able to spend a lot of time based in Europe, based in South America, and visiting other countries. And I felt that it was really, from my point of view, it was really good to learn how to operate in different cultures and get along with people and try to make decisions in cultures that are completely different than what we're used to here in Australia. Look, I won't necessarily say they're limited to security challenges, but given that we operate in the security industry, I think it still holds true in any industry. I think the most important leadership qualities are to be honest with people, both the people that you work with and internally, but as well as all your external stakeholders. So if you're honest with them, it's a lot easier to deal with problems than if you're trying to sweep things under the carpet. Number two, I think, is surrounding yourself with really good people, and I'm very fortunate. I've got a great management team across the country that I work with, and I've got a great management team here in head office that are all specialists in their areas, and they're all the best people that you can imagine having those roles. So I'm very lucky. Look, I think there's probably three things that have guided me in terms of decision making. Number one is integrity. Is always be really true to, say what you mean and mean what you say, and don't compromise on that. So that's number one. Number two, I guess in terms of principles that guide me in my leadership, is surrounding yourself with the best people. And I'm lucky I've got a team of managers that report to me who are all the best in their field that I can imagine, and also the broader leadership team across MSS Security. I think we've got the best people in our industry. And I suppose the third area that really that resonates the most with me is is making decisions based on fact. Far too often we're confronted with a lot of noise, we're confronted with a lot of opinions, but it's really important while you might hear that, it's really important to cut through that and make sure that your decisions are based on fact. I think certainly in my time at MSS Security, so over the past 20 years, it's moved from being a disciplined guarding service and moved much more into the customer service arena, where we have people that are dressed not as security guards, but more user-friendly, so people from the public can come up to them. If they're working in a corporate environment, they're more likely to be wearing a suit and tie, as opposed to a badge and security-looking uniform. So I think we're moving away from that real security police officer look to the customer service look. But certainly where we're going now, and we're seeing it more and more, and it's evolving, I think, at a very rapid pace, is the use of technology in our business. Whether it be us using drones in the sky, using AI in a crowded environment, whether it's using body cams, that sort of thing. I think we're just seeing that more and more. Our technology is becoming much more integrated to the human side of what we're doing. So I definitely see that as the way to go, where the industry's going. Look, I can't comment really on the Indian business where the real growth has taken place. I'm certainly proud when I tell people who I work for that we're part of the largest security company and facility management company in India with over 300,000 employees there. But with respect to the international business, I think the growth here has been fantastic, where we've grown from around under 3,000 employees. We're now heading in the direction of 8,000 employees in the international side of the business. And I think that sends a real message to the market that we're not standing still. I think it demonstrates that not only are we a growing company, but it's cementing our position as the leader in this industry. Look, I think our position in the market, in the security industry, has been strengthened through our acquisitions. In Australia, for example, MSS Security is the leader in manpower guarding. We're moving into drones. We're moving into new areas. We're doing mine site security. We have paramedics. But our growth through acquisition, our growth is also there in the industry, as we see with Southern Cross Protection, where they're the leading national mobile patrol and alarm response company. They've got a very strong foothold in the retail sector, which is an area MSS doesn't operate in. And seeing our move more recently into New Zealand and Singapore gives us, I think, more credibility as a regional player close by to Australia. So it's definitely strengthening these acquisitions and this growth, I think, is definitely sending a very clear message to the market that we are the leader in this area. In terms of securing client trust and long-term partnerships, I think the key really lies with our business managers. So our business managers are the people that they're like the account manager for each one of our clients. So they're not permanently based on site, but they look after the contractual relationship, and they actually have management responsibilities for our people on site. And oftentimes when we pick up a new client, they say, we really like the people that are on site here, but we never see management. So from our point of view, it is so important that we get our business managers out on client sites and meeting with clients and being the face of the company. And that's going to do two things. Number one, it will not only give trust and confidence that our clients have in us, but those people that we have working on site will also have that trust and confidence built up by having their manager there more often. So it's that business manager role, I think, is by far the most important role in our business. But it's really important that those business managers aren't just the face of the company. They have to be armed with information. They need to know what we are contracted to with respect to that client. They need to know what our contractual arrangement is with our employees. What industrial instrument are they being paid under? How does that actually translate into money in the pocket of that security guard and the hours that security guard is working? So it's really important that we educate and equip our business managers with the information that they need so that when they go to talk to the people on site, our people on site, they know exactly what our employees' expectations are, and they're equipped to talk to them about that. But equally important is they know what the client's expectations are, and they're equally equipped, capable, to talk to those clients about what really matters. So it's those things that they need to know, that contractual education, but it's also understanding what are the technologies and innovations that we as a security company can give to the clients. So if our business managers are operating in a vacuum and don't pay attention to all those other services that we have to offer, they're not giving our clients the best service. They need to be able to reach into our goodie bag and almost be the client looking into MSS security and representing the client looking into us and saying, this is what MSS can offer you to keep your costs down or to provide a better security solution. So to me, the real key that we need to invest more and more in is our business managers, because that will really help build the confidence and trust of our clients. I think from the Australian point of view, I think what we're seeing here is that the large national clients and large government clients look at MSS security when we're tendering for work, and they see, okay, you're part of a bigger multinational organization, and they see what we're doing in those other markets. And I think that gives them more confidence that, yes, not only are we, while we're a local company and the leader here, we're also getting input and feeding off of our sister and parent companies. So I think from that point of view, it's really good for us. And when there are opportunities that come up for global clients, take like an Amazon, for example, we're able to put together a bid that covers multiple geographies, which if we were just on our own or not part of a multinational, we wouldn't even be in the market for those opportunities. Look, I think one of the things that permeates both from SIS in India and throughout MSS is, I think, both our cultures are very different, both as peoples but as corporates. But one thing that is very common and consistent between us is our commitment to our values. SIS is highly valued, driven organization. It's based on integrity and customer service, and those are the two things that underpin our culture here at MSS. So I think that culture is very good, and it's also that commitment to customer service where SIS, Uday Singh once told us that losing a client is like being a criminal offense. So, and that really comes from the commitment that they have in India towards retaining and providing good service to their clients. And we try to replicate that same philosophy here with our clients. So very, very core fundamentals that run deep through both entities. So the key factors, I think, that contribute to any company's success that operates in the service industry, whether it's security or no matter what that industry is, I think number one is reliability, where a client is paying for somebody to provide a service. They need to trust that that service will be there, that those people will be there, and those people will be doing what they've been contracted to do. So I think that reliability is first and foremost. I think number two is probably in the area of communication. It's communicating both ways with the client up front. What are their expectations, and do we completely understand their expectations, and what are we doing to meet that? And where we fall short, it's communicating with them, but more importantly, or just equally as important, is where we meet or exceed those expectations, is communicating that with the client. So it's that reliability, it's the communication, it's trustworthiness. I think for any service provider, you need to be trusted. And if there's any doubt that you're trying to get away with something by not just get away doing something on the cheap or not fulfilling your commitment, I think that there's a breakdown in trust. And whenever you have a breakdown in trust, you run the real risk of either losing that customer as a client, or you run the real risk of making yourself more of a commodity rather than being a trusted business partner. So I think that's another factor that is very important. I think that commitment to customer service is probably the last area where it's being willing to go above and beyond what's the basic minimum level of expectation for you. And I think where you can demonstrate that, you're doing that. In our case, for MSS, I think that's where the clients really, that gets us closer to our clients, and that's allowed us to have some really good growth organically. That's a tough one, because if you're trying to build a strong and motivated workforce, for us, we're doing okay on the recruitment side, but we operate in an environment where for the last 4 years or so, unemployment has been about or below 4%. So that means that anybody in Australia who wants a job can get a job, or anybody who's capable of holding down a job can get a job, and that's pretty much we're operating at full employment. So for us, the real challenge is to keep our people, and we're struggling with that. I don't think we've mastered it. It's not necessarily that we're doing something wrong. It's just that there's so many other career and job opportunities out there for people to take that we have to work extra hard to keep those people with us. So I think we're doing a lot of good things in terms of in the area of our employee benefits. We have a multitude of benefits through various service providers, whether it's cheap mortgage or movie tickets or cheap health insurance, all these sorts of things. We have a really comprehensive benefit scheme for our employees. I think we're very good at providing recognition and recognizing those employees, whether they be security officers out on site or our office-based people. I think we're doing a really good job of recognizing them for outstanding achievements. And we're also giving rewards. Ideally, it'd be great to give a significant dollar value reward to everybody every time they do something good, but we're a very low margin business, so it's tough for us to do that. But we are definitely trying to be better at giving rewards at a critical time. So when the person has exceeded or gone above and beyond the call of duty, it's important to give the reward at that point in time. So I think we're doing a lot in those areas. I think there has to be more we can do because we have to do better in that area. But certainly from what I know, what we're doing and what I see in the marketplace, whether it's in the security industry or not, we're certainly batting above our weight there, or punching above our weight. I don't want to mix my metaphors. So. I think technology is playing a massive role in shaping the future direction of SIS, both in India and internationally. Whether it's improving customer service or providing better security or service delivery solutions to our clients. We see that through IOPS. We're seeing that through us in Australia now using drones. We see that through our online real-time reporting that we're giving clients. It's just been fantastic. And then that's about improving the quality of service to our clients and using technology there. And that's just going to grow and grow and grow. And I think there's also the role of technology in the back office. We're seeing technology with the use of Fusion. We're now getting site-level profitability. That gives us more data than we've ever had before. We're implementing Workday as our human capital system. We've never had an HR system before, and the information that we're getting from there and how we're able to use that in our decision-making is something we never even imagined. And with the implementation of Workforce as our new rostering system, it's putting us on using a first-class world-class system to manage our workforce much more effectively. So whether it's these back-office functions or it's the technologies that we're using out on client sites, that's the way of the SIS Group, and I see that as being underpinning almost every strategic decision we make going forward. Look, I think what we're going to see more and more is a shift to where technology becomes much more integrated as part of the human side of things. So I think I mentioned earlier that the role of whether it's body cameras, whether it's using AI as part of it, our relationship with our clients is going to be much more data, real-time driven. So technology, whether it's in the actual delivery of the service, whether it's in the communication or interactions with our client, or whether it's in our back office, trying to keep our costs as low and as efficient as possible, that's where technology it's going to play a critical role in all three of those areas. Look, I think the SIS growth story is not about one initiative or one event. I think the growth strategy for the group has really been the board's willingness and its commitment to make acquisitions. And those acquisitions have been in new geographies and they've been in new lines of business. And you've seen that in India through the growth of the facilities management business. We've seen that in Australia and the international side by going into new markets and the areas that we're looking at in terms of aged care and nursing. I mean, these are new areas for us. They build on our core competencies, but it's the board's commitment to say, yeah, we're willing to back you to grow in these areas. So it's those acquisitions that are taking us from here to here to here. We're doing a great job by growing organically, and that organic growth comes from just continuing to provide outstanding service to our clients, but that's just giving us a steady line of growth. So I think that commitment of the board to grow through acquisition has really underpinned our real growth story. Look, I think the biggest achievement over the years for SIS, certainly in the last, 15, 18 years or so that I've been involved with SIS since they acquired the Chubb guarding business. I think that was by far the biggest defining moment in the company's growth. Whether they would have got to the size they are now without that acquisition, but it was a really bold acquisition that SIS made. I think the MSS business was probably about 6 or 7 times the size of SIS. And so it was a bold decision by RK and Rituraj and Uday to actually go after this massive whale, and they were a little minnow at the time. And they caught the whale, and they've done a terrific job of, I guess, embedding the SIS values into the MSS values, which I think has just allowed some of the international business to flourish. So acquiring MSS was definitely, I think, the biggest defining moment in the company's history so far. If I had to summarize SIS's journey in one sentence, I would say it has been a well-planned, wild ride. So have I got any memorable stories or insights into Mr. R.K. Sinha or Mr. Rituraj Sinha? They date back to just pre-acquisition. So it would have been 2005 before SIS acquired MSS. Back then it was called Chubb. R.K. was just a very impressive man. He started SIS India with a very important role, which was creating employment for those servicemen coming back from the war in India, and it was very much driven by purpose. And I think everything that we've seen from R.K. Sinha since then, he's a man that's driven by purpose, and the purpose is really about helping people and creating a family culture. And we've seen that, even though we're a multi-billion-dollar company now globally, we still see his approach to the family culture day in and day out. Rituraj was he's still quite young, but he was really young back then, and Rituraj has always been a very impressive individual. His ability to pop in and out of all the businesses that he has responsibility for is, to me, it's amazing how he can drop in. He quickly knows the people, and he understands the key issues, and he's very focused on, let's not get diverted from the noise. Let's just focus on the issues, and his ability to grasp challenges and his ability to grasp the problems and to help lead the formulation of solutions is just fantastic. So the two of them have both been very, very impressive over the years. And like it goes to say also that with Uday Singh, Uday has always been an integral part of that team coming from India, and his leadership together with Rituraj has just been very good. Similar thing where Uday has a lot of experience that he's able to add to coming up with solutions. And I've always thought that Uday does a really good job of mixing the Eastern philosophy with the Western management style, and I think that's one of the areas that we've benefited from Uday. So no, it's been an absolute honor to have spent the last 20 years as part of the SIS family. It's been an honor working with RK, not so much, but his guiding hand's always been there, but with working with Rituraj and Uday, it's just been fantastic. Oh, look, I just want to wish everybody well over the next stage of our growth. It's been a fantastic 50 years for SIS. It's been a great 20 years for me. And I think I look forward to everybody having a really as much fun in their career with SIS as I have had.
CMD के साथ का first interaction, I still remember that, in the last round of this selection process, CMD conducted the last round of our interview, और we were all waiting for chairman to come. हम लोग 18-20 candidates थे जो कि सर का वेट कर रहे थे. When sir came into the office, and then, I was the first one to be sent inside. It was a normal sized room where chairman sir was there, Mr. A.K. Singh,